What's up, guys? ZFarls here, alongside me, my co-host S. Gibbs for This Week in Madden, show 103, kicking it to you live tonight. Gibbs, where are we right now?
Well, we are live on the set of This Week in Madden 103 Farls, but we are actually not live. We are actually, probably right now, I'm locked up in a semifinals battle, hopefully, in the Best Buy Gamer Showdown Madden 25 tournament. We are in Braintree, Massachusetts, and we're both trying to win the championship tonight, and I hope I don't have to play you in the finals.
So if you're at a Best Buy tournament tonight, there's a bunch coming up. The winner gets $10,000 and a trip to Dallas, the winner of that tournament, but you go to Dallas to play on the Jumbotron. I believe there's 8 regional locations. I know there was New York City earlier, and I believe San Francisco. Tonight is LA and Boston. So we are there right now, but we've taken your mailbag questions for Madden 25 Next Gen and Current Gen, so we're going to have both on the show tonight, and we're going to be talking about that, but we are competing right now in the Best Buy tournament. Once again, I'm ZFarls. We've got S. Gibbs here tonight. Let's take a look at our first mailbag question of the night. Coming in from Boston Clover, he wants to know, what are the 3 biggest differences from current to next gen Madden? Gibbs, what do you think about that?
The biggest differences that I'm noticing when we're talking next gen Madden 25 to current gen Madden 25 is, number 1, blitzing from depth. That's the biggest difference in my opinion. If you want to send pressure in next gen Madden 25, you must blitz from depth. Number 1.
So we have that on PS4, so that's the first thing we want to look at tonight. Is we are on PS4 Madden, and we want to blitz from depth because we feel that it's very important to bring pressure into the life of your opponent, which is always a good way to force turnovers and get revenge.
So guys, the playbook I'm using here is the 46 playbook on next gen Madden 25. And the play I like to use, and it's been my go-to blitz in past situations, is the zone blitz from dime flat. What I mean by blitz from depth, this is what I mean here. So I base a line. Now, typically when we be setting this blitz up in years past, what would we always recommend? Take the blitzing corner,
slide him in, get him close to the line,
get him as close as
cause trouble, you know, freak your opponent out. Pretty much.
So now at the snap of the ball, Farls here goes. You're going to see that the offensive line does a great job at recovering, and they slide and they work as a unit. And now that's the job that was done by EA developer Clint Oldenburg. This is a very realistic representation of what you would see on Sundays. If you saw a corner that slid in there, the offensive line is going to recognize him that's an immediate threat. So you can see the offensive line works here in harmony. You can see that the tackle and the guard both slide out to pick up the blitzing defender, and we're not able to get anybody in and get pressure, correct? Well, what if I told you, Farls, that to get pressure from this dime flat look, all you have to do is call base a line. Now I'm done. Go ahead, snap of the ball. You're going to see that we get a double team, and now that slot corner gets in. So that's the difference of blitzing from depth. We talk about this all the time. Yes, there's other blitzes in this game that I've seen people doing from like a bear under. I just don't think they're very consistent. This is consistent. You're going to get this to come in every time. This is sending 5 guys off that right edge. You're going to see the reason this works is because the offensive line doesn't recognize him as an immediate threat because he's not at the line of scrimmage. So you're blitzing from depth. You're getting a realistic blitz here. The tackle on the right gets a double team, and that's what allows that blitz off the edge to come in. And that's where, and you can see that offensive line now recognize that. He's trying to peel off, but it's too late. He can't get over there. So this is where you get that realistic blitzing from depth look.
And do we have that blitz on current gen available to us right now to run?
We
do not.
I don't think we have dime flat.
Can we replicate it?
Let's see if we can replicate it.
All right, so we are going to kick it over to current gen Madden right now, and we'll show you the differences between these blitzes right here. Let me see if we can lock this up. So here we are. This is back on Xbox 360 edition of Madden. We'll try and we don't have exactly the same thing, but we'll do our best to figure out something pretty close. I will come out in a spread offensive formation so that we can really attack the line. But we'll just show you real quick. This question was asking about the differences between current and next gen. A lot of people say in the chat right now, it looks the same. It looks the same. It looks the same. Well, when you see the rushing and the blitzes, it's not going to look the same. It's going to look different because if you have any clue and you're a hardcore Madden player because you're watching a show on a Wednesday night, you're going to know the differences.
So here it's something similar. What we would always recommend, I'm not even sure if this is going to get in. I'd have to mess with it real quick. But what we always talked about before is you want these corners in close because they're going to get to the quarterback quicker. Now, on next gen, you lose some of that speed. Actually, nice little A gap there, no big deal. So, number one, that's not going to happen on next gen. So, that's a big difference. So, kudos to that. Let me get something I know that'll work.
Can we look at that?
That was pretty good. That was
nice.
kind of a screamer. I didn't plan that to tell you guys the truth there. Kind of good. Do you think I could do it again? I feel like I could do that again. Let me try that again, and then we'll get to the actual part of the tip. So, move him in.
You yellowed him and slid him in.
And then I usually just gotta go. No way it happens again, right?
No.
It was fluky. It was fluky picked.
Looked cool, though.
Yeah, looked
National
cool.
Live Internet, anything can happen.
So, here we're going to do, they're going to go 2-man under this time, because I know this will work. So, if I go 2-man under, and I slide Gator in, my question is, do I have to blitz him? I think I have to blitz him. So, this is what we would do before, right, to get pressure from dime. So, snap of the ball. I should get pressure off that right edge.
He tried to come in the B gap instead.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to blitz the other guy straight down. My apologies. I think I have to blitz... Yeah, I have to blitz the right D tackle down because I need that left D tackle to grab the guard. Then we're going to isolate the center. So I believe it's like this. So snap of the ball, I should get pressure off that right edge. So you can see the difference. See the difference now that look at the center's isolated. So on next gen, good luck isolating the center.
What you need to do to attack with the double team, guys. Right. That's pretty much the difference.
You need to get the double team on next gen. But here's the difference right here. See how we isolate the center and then he doesn't do anything. He just doesn't block anybody, and that's how we can get the pressure. So on next gen, you have to blitz from depth because you need the double team to happen to fool the offensive line and get the pressure in.
So that is one of the biggest differences, and that's the question we're exploring right now on This Week in Madden Show 103, guys. S. Gibbs and I currently competing at the Best Buy Challenge, but we have a full, complete show for you tonight. We're breaking down all your questions. Any other notes you want to hit on about the game being different from next gen to current gen? Yeah,
so that's number one, and number one, that's all the way up here. And then there's number two, which is probably right about here, running controls. The running controls are definitely different, but not in a bad way. You can't run an off tackle and then say, oh, I want to run it off. It's designed to go to the right, yes, and I want to run it left.
And can we just have a small conversation about, I know running on Xbox 360 and PS3 is fun with the run free, and I had great success with it, so I can't complain because when it was there to me, I took advantage of it.
Yeah.
I would say it was a little overpowered.
Definitely overpowered.
So I think the block, in my opinion, was just too strong on the edge. Some of the running moves you could really truck and get your head forward. So when I was like we talked about it the other day, when I was running for 300 yards a game, I wasn't complaining, but it was tough to stop.
Yeah.
Whereas now, at least the running cuts are more realistic, and they have to actually run to the gap they're supposed to run to. They can't just cut back, and the blocks don't hold as long on the edge. I haven't seen a receiver block in the NFL, and every time I do see it,
Hines Ward.
But every time I do see a receiver block on the edge, it's an instant replay where they're praising the receiver. Because 9 out of 10 times they don't, but then you see a quarterback get out and throw a block.
Right.
And everyone goes bananas, or this receiver actually blocked.
Great example was Chiefs-Broncos this weekend. They used Junior Hemingway a lot. They actually used him in heavy personnel packages like goal line, and he was the split wing receiver because I guess he's such a good blocker.
Yeah.
But
so it's like a skill, whereas these guys, Percy Harvin, who's probably, I don't want to say he's never blocked a day in his life, but
gets hurt.
He may not. He probably holds on the edge pretty well. Whereas in current gen or in next gen, man, they not only can you not cut outside as well to get to that guy who's holding the block, but they're gonna a DB is gonna shed a block. Mark Barron's gonna get off a slot receiver if he's lined up against him. Most of the time, he's got better block shed than that guy should have run block. So you're gonna see that's more realistic. People were frustrated with it at first, but I haven't heard. After about 2 or 3 weeks, I haven't heard as much frustration now that people are used to it. I think it's a lot better.
Right, absolutely. And I would say the last difference between current gen and next gen, Madden, has to be the zone coverage.
So we'll take a quick look at zones here on next gen. This is PS4. They just play better. I don't know if there's a specific example we can show, but one thing I've always liked about next gen so far is the ability for deep zones to play better against outs and hooks and things of that nature. So I'll try and streak X here, but generally I've seen that those guys are going to break down on the ball better on the outside, and they're not going to get out of position. Sometimes what would happen, in my opinion, would be that if you had a cover 3, so you had 3 guys going to deep zones, this guy for some reason would drift see how he drifts to the middle there, but he would really drift towards the middle. So as soon as your guy cut, he would get, not only would he get beat,
but he comes back on it.
But he would go out to the left and he'd get beat so far, and then you could cut it up.
Right.
Whereas now they're at least like more stay in their lane and they break down on the ball better.
Right. Here's the difference. I want to go back, run that same curl again, Farls. Hold on. Let me set the defense up. I want you to run that same curl, and this is what I think the difference is with next gen and current gen with zone coverage. You throw that curl, he breaks down on it there, and he's able to make a play. About, what'd you get, that 4 yards? On current gen, I've noticed like you throw that curl, and then you could just be gone.
Right.
You could just be gone for 20 yards. So that's where I see a big difference. And that seems small, but that's part of the reason why on current gen we say to hook everybody.
Right.
Because the deep zones just do a terrible job at coming back down the ball. And on next gen, you're going to notice that you can use the deep zones again. And that was the buzz zone that played that curl great.
Yeah, the buzz zone there, he did a better job like breaking down. It's
coming back at the ball to make a play on the ball,
which is something we complained about before. So kudos to that. So those are the 3 differences between the gens of the game. It's 3 small things, you know.
Don't you think flats play better too?
I feel like they drop better.
Right. Get the Jones route out of there, and then run that curl. I would imagine that flat's going to drop to the curl.
Yeah.
Like that is, you don't.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't there. He didn't make the play.
Yeah.
But he was there.
I wouldn't have thrown it.
Right. On current gen, he'll stay in the
He'll
flat.
hang down on the flat.
But on next gen, he has the awareness to know, okay, there's no flat defender, so I'm just going to go to the closest guy there. So flats actually are very, very good on next gen. They're a great route or a great.
I
zone.
don't even believe in using flats almost on current. I mean,
At all.
buzzes are pretty poor, but they obviously did better here. So, just a couple things to look out for when you're playing next gen version of the game. You see here,
He's
there to make a play.
Right.
So that's a pretty good start for tonight's show. Reminder: we are at the Best Buy tournaments playing some next. We're back.
We went into
we don't have tech guy.
Blackout sesh.
So that is what I would say about next gen and current gen. Let's take a look at our next mailbag question here. We've got a good one coming in from Fred WH, who wants to know what defensive formation offers the best cover 4 over the deep middle. I've tried the 46 speed. And one thing I would state about this tip is that it will work for current and next gen. So
short on current.
We'll show it on
next.
We'll show it on next gen, but this is going to work for you either way. What I do in this situation is I go to quarters and I go to normal, and then I call cover 3. Let me just grab the PS4 up here. So we're in quarters, cover 3 normal, and I feel like where the deep middle is pretty weak is like this PA wide receiver in route. Do you feel like that would get over the middle?
Right.
We've shown where the deep middle's tender. Probably verticals is a good route. But see where the R1 route is going to run? Without any adjustments, this can get beat by cover 4. Like right there. You know, you put four zones out there. You know you're good deep, but all of a sudden the guys get beat in that tender middle. So you could obviously shade your coverage in the middle, which would be triangle, right stick down, or on Xbox, Y, right stick down. Once again, good for both versions of the game. You could do that. That'll just get some more traffic, in the middle. Make a play, make a hit. But what I like to do is I'll grab the D sticks here. I like to make my own cover 4 rather than use a cover 4 that's standard. So this guy on a flat doesn't do me any good because he's got to run all the way down there. I don't like how this formation really aligns. So what I do is I take this guy, drop him into deep, and then I grab the guy who's on a flat zone. So for PS3, remember we said flats aren't that great. They don't drop that deep. But I like the press. So I'm going to get a free press because he's in a flat zone. He's going to press. And then I'm going to drop because I don't really want this guy. If I know they're going deep, I don't really care if they throw a flat pass. I want to drop with him and almost be a hook, almost be a buzz zone, almost be a purple zone on my own, kind of playing back here and guarding the sideline once I get the press. And you can do this on either side depending on the open side of the field. Sometimes you can drop this flat into a deep, sometimes, and then play the other side. I like to do it to this side of the field where there's all the traffic. So if you do this, I should get a free press because I'm in a flat zone, and then I'm going to drop back, and that should hopefully take away that deep middle of the field. So you make your own cover 4 from a cover 3 just by adding an extra zone.
And It's almost
You could shade in if you wanted.
It's almost it's called a cover 4, obviously, but because we're hot routing it, it really becomes a cover 7. And what I like about the hot routed cover 4 is that you actually have one safety that drops directly to the deep middle of the field, but then you still have 4 defenders deep.
Yep.
And this is a defense I used a lot in Madden 12 out of the 4-2-5, where we hot routed the cover 3.
And my main reason of stopping this is because this does a pretty good job against corner routes. These hooks, or these yellow zones, they actually fan out pretty wide and play the corners.
Good spread.
They actually they do better than they look. That's why I initially started calling this defense, but then I started to get beat over that deep middle. So
that's the hot route right there. He's right there ready to make a play.
Right.
I like that.
And that's where you are tender. Because people say, how do I beat cover 4? Well, there is that gap area about 15 yards behind the middle linebacker where you can sometimes fit a ball in, but if you use your coverage and add an extra defender, you're going to break down in the pass.
Right. And so that's obviously a hot routed tip. One thing I will say for guys that don't want to make a hot route, I would say the best cover 4s to call are ones with 3 down lines, because you have 2 hooks rather than 1 hook.
Right.
So if you go show me a dime look here, go to dime cover 4. Don't pick it, just show it. Dime cover 4. So see how there's only 1 hook?
Yep.
I think that's huge. Whereas you call cover 4, you're going to be in trouble because your coverage over the middle is real weak. But if you go to like $1 and now call cover 4, now you have 2 hooks over the middle of the field.
You still get the buzz zones.
And still have the buzz zones, but now you have better coverage. You have 2 hooks. So I would rather, if you're going to play cover 4, you're conceding that I don't want to try and get pressure. I want to play coverage.
Right.
So why rush that extra guy? And I would also probably recommend drop the nose tackle on the quarterback spy.
And last pro tip I would say is whichever side is the short side of the field, whether you're a 4-down lineman or whether you're a 3-down lineman, maybe don't take away the buzz zone on either side, but to the short side, I like to use the open side because I feel like I can make more plays. But if you're newer, use the short side, and don't go to the sideline. Go to the middle. Don't really mind the sideline. Work that middle. Be that second yellow zone, but also be that you're the human element that can make yourself better. So use that.
Another last pro tip here. So I noticed that the question was saying about the cover 4 from
46
speed, right?
Yeah.
Well, what you're just saying, so depending on the side of the field that you're on, so say the ball's on the left hash, you'd have the open side be on the right side of the field. So what I would say is make sure you have athletic defensive ends at D end. I would say drop 1 into a hook, and then you baseline twice. And what that's going to do is that's going to have one of your linebackers really fan out to that right side to defend the open side of the field. And now you have a cover 4, you're rushing 3, and then you have 4 hooks underneath. So you have great coverage underneath, great coverage deep. I almost think that could potentially be better. You're in a base set. You're really. I mean, my question is, what are you giving up? I mean, you're gonna not rush too many guys. Another thing you could do: spy a guy, rush 2, and you're just kind of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna play all coverage," and you're not
try
gonna
and drop deep in that middle. Be there until you pass him off, and hopefully get back and make a play.
Right.
So that's what it's got to be if you want to play that cover 4. But that is that tender area, but it's going to be a tight window. All right, guys, let's take a look here at our next mailbag question. Coming in from Airzola, wants to know, as a run-heavy player, what ratings do you look for in the offensive line / tight end positions? So, Gibbs, I know you're a big fan of this from our Rams playbook. What do you go with during this?
So, I think when I'm looking at run blocking ratings for tight ends, I'm really focusing on impact blocks, because when you get a pulling guard, or if you get a tight end that gets kicked out, if you put him at fullback, like a halfback toss, that impact block is going to tie to whether or not he's going to get that complete pancake of the guy where he just flattens him out and then you go.
Say that again. So your impact block rating, guys, is when 2 players are moving. When a guy is pulling or a guy's going to the second level and he faces a linebacker or a secondary player that's moving. When 2 players are moving and collide, that's your impact block rating that factors into that block. So that's pretty important.
Absolutely.
If you're running those type of plays.
Right. And I know people kind of people get on me a little bit about this, and I know you get on me a little about this. Why are you using the Bengals? Why aren't you using the Niners or the Seahawks? When I look at the Bengals, I see that they have so much flexibility with their personnel on offense and defense. It's hard for me not to use them, because I think that Madden 25 on current gen is a big game that's about personnel, And I think on next gen, it's even a bigger game where you need to have guys that can get it done at all different positions and different spots. So when I look at the Bengals, defensively, they have a great secondary that has a lot of flexibility. Offensively, they have 4 tight ends. You could call them 3 tight ends, 1 fullback. And these 4 guys are matchup nightmares because they're all big, they all can block, and they all can catch, and they all have a little bit of speed. So obviously Gresham and Eifert are your 2 main guys because they are your athletic guys.
Better catching traffic.
But then when you bring in Alex Smith and Orson Charles, who's actually a fullback, 6'3" fullback, 6'4" tight end, you could come out in a 4 tight end set but still pass the ball, but still run the ball really well. Look at the impact blocks on Smith and Charles. 74 impact, 76 impact for Orson. And then you also have the run blocking and pass blocking ability. Eifert's good. 62 is very good. 66 is really good as well. If you look at the offensive line, you have Collins here, who's an 84 run block. Eifert's a 71. That's not that far off, especially for a tight end that can go out and catch passes when you have these 4 guys that can now catch the ball. So take a look at their catching. 82, 87. Again, Smith and Charles, that's not amazing catch, but 72, 74 certainly gets it done.
Get you invited to the party.
Right. So you have a lot of flexibility here with what you can do offensively with this package.
And then so for O-line, do you look at run block, footwork, strength? What do you go with?
Yeah, I like the strength, but I also...
whatever the Niners have as highest because all their guys, seriously, look at the Niners line. When you just play, they blow guys off the ball. So whatever ratings they have that are really good, that's what I would trust to be the ratings that factor into your run game because they're just strong beast dudes. Like when I play with them, I get better push. I get better running. I can't, it's hard to explain.
I think it's that, again, I look at that impact block and I value that so much because on pulling plays, you just get complete pancakes when you get Joe Staley going out. So that's kind of what I really focus on. Is that if I'm going to look to have a complete dominant
look at the
running
left
game,
side of the line with the impacts with Iapati,
Staley,
and Boone, who's the right guard, so you could move him over, or you're going to have the interior to the left all secured. And that's pretty good confidence when you run the ball with them.
What I love about that is both guards can both kick and pull and go. And then you obviously have Staley holding up that left edge. So, any type of play that you can get both guards pulling, you're going to have a lot of success, and we're actually going to show you that later in the game of the week. You're going to see a play that we use in our offense actually has 2 guards pulling. Running play, in my opinion, is the best run in the game. We'll talk about that later, though.
All right, so we'll keep going on with our questions here. Once again, Gibbs and I are competing in the Best Buy tournament tonight. So Twin will be back live next week, guys. Let us know what you like, what you want to see, more current gen, more next gen. Both, most of it's going to carry over on both, but once again, just using whatever we got here. So next question in the mailbag, let's take a look. We got it coming in from Fred WH. He wants to know, does hot routing hook zones work better than cover 2 sync? Is it all in your head, Fred? I don't know. It's a good question, a fair question. So cover 2 sync, as Wolfman in the chat knows out there, a great play to stop a lot of things. The hook zones, especially on, they drop really deep on PS3 and 360, but on next gen, they'll actually just play better overall. They maybe don't drop as deep, but they'll break a little bit better. So as we go into PS4 right here, we'll see that basically what he's asking is, so go to a cover 2. So a regular cover 2, guys, obviously you have 2 hook zones. Or 2 flat zones on the outside. Those guys are going to press, and potentially they're going to drop or not drop. With cover 2 sync, it's 5 hook zones, 5 yellow zones spread. So what he's saying is, if I call it, it's going to look like that. But if I just call cover 2 and then I manually take those 2 flat zones, you're essentially making your own cover 2 sync. Which one is better? Am I going crazy, or is this really happening?
Right. And what I think is, with the cover 2 sync, I think the DBs have a better chance, what you saw there, to break down the ball, at least from my experience, because they fan out. So what I mean by fan out is look where the hook brings them. It brings them to the sideline, right?
The hook brings you back, as Blues Traveler says.
There you go. There you go. I like that. So you can see the hooks fan out. Where if I called the cover 2 and then I hot route them in, you can see that now they drop straight back. I don't hate it, but I think in my studies, they have a better chance of coming down the ball. He made a play there, but
He was out of position.
He was out of position.
He was out of position.
Where if you run that same play, and I think if I'm in the cover 2 sink, I think they have just a better chance of breaking down on the ball.
He got out of position there, though, too.
He did.
I don't know.
He got drawn. I like that. Well, one thing I was going to say, though, is that if you did do the cover two, as the ball takes forever to reset, if you just did a re-baseline, if you didn't like that, you could just baseline twice.
Which is triangle.
And you're going to get the same thing as the cover 2 sink.
Triangle left on the D-pad, triangle left on the D-pad twice.
Right.
Right on the D-pad twice. And as you see here, this guy drifts back, but generally it's going to spread out the zones better.
Rebalance them on the field. He's actually getting drawn in on the flat.
He's getting drawn by the flat, but it's making me think that it's going to be open, but then he's shooting back to make the play. So
how about that? Try that one again. I don't think he's recognizing the flat, to be honest. No, he does.
I feel like there's a window where I can make the throw.
Oh, that's interesting.
And now you think this would happen on last gen? Should we try it?
What if I cushion? I think on next gen you want to hot route it. You want to call cover 2 and hot route. Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
All right, so call cover 2, which is a regular play, and then put the hook zones in yourself, the yellow zones. Sometimes, though, you don't even want to because that press can really mess you up. Unless you're calling with 4 verticals, unless you have 2 vertical routes against cover 2.
Right.
I don't want to say it's tough to beat. It's super easy to beat if you know it's cover 2.
If you know it's cover 2.
Easier. Could not be easier.
Right.
But
if you mix it in.
And with the flats dropping, like we talked about a little bit earlier in the show.
Right.
Not bad.
Right.
Not bad. So.
At cushion coverage.
Sometimes, you do things in
cushion coverage is makes them go back, I think. Whereas, like, another thing I like, too, about the hooks, I would say is if you have your coverage back, I was thinking that was going to happen. My question is he going to run in now?
And then go back. No, they just drift, but then they're kind of behind
drift.
it.
So let me see if I hot route it. Because if I back them up, you see how the hook, everyone's watching, see how the hooks stay in? But if I were to hot route them, he kind of goes right to the center of it. So is there a difference between the last play and this play?
It's kind of pretty similar.
Similar. They were kind of right there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like there's much of a difference, at least on this next gen. On current gen, I'm going to say always hot route it. Would you recommend it? Always hot route it.
Should we try
Absolutely.
You trust it. You just know it works.
We could try it.
We got that capability.
We have the capability?
That tech. We got that tech right here. All right, we're going to 360.
All right.
To the back cave.
Let's go.
So we are now on 360 Xbox, and we are going to be in cover 2, and we are going to hot route our bros. And I'm going to throw some curls.
Basically the same play. And
they don't drop back as fast right as the ball's thrown.
Right.
I saw it on the first time I threw it. So what I was seeing on PS4, this is 360, I was seeing that this guy was doing the exact same thing. He was sitting like here, but if I didn't throw it right as he cut, it gave this guy time on the bottom left of the screen here to cut, to run and really get 21, to really get in there.
And he was delaying.
And he didn't really break at the same time.
Let me do this. Those are stock. That's terrible. That's terrible representation. Let me grab a cover 2 sink here. Sink, okay. Give me that same play. Curl flats. So here's the sink, okay. Now run it. And so that time he did a better job. So he did a better job there. Now what if I called the sink, or called cover 2?
And now we'll hot route the hooks.
Okay. So it's better to not hot route here.
So on next gen, you want to hot route. On Xbox 360 or PS3, do not
do it again.
Hot route. Like I got to throw it right now, whereas like I waited a little bit, and then they drop. But
right. On PS4, they went right away.
Find it a little quicker.
Let me try this. Let me cover 2, hot route on cushion coverage, and pass pick. Go. That's the one. That's why you hot route and then you cushion coverage, because that gets them going.
Okay, so
hot route on the current.
Hot route them on current gen as well, but make sure you use cushion coverage. And to really know more secrets about cushion coverage, guys, what you have to do is check out the winner's kit, which we really break down cushion coverage and go into why it's probably the most important thing on defense in Madden 25. So if you go to MaddenTips.com right now, you can actually get the winner's kit. We had great 75% off sale for all weekend in celebration of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all that jazz. I believe there is a code tonight using the discount TWIM. Somebody will put a link in the chat, but just go to MaddenTips.com and look at the winner's kit. We got next-gen stuff coming out shortly. We're working on that with offense and defense, so don't worry about that. But you'll have 8 playbooks for current gen. And like we say, most of it's going to carry over, guys. About everything but about 10% of the runs for all the offensive stuff is going to carry over. You just got to learn how to run them. Defense will be new, but we'll be providing that for you guys. So
you saw a little preview of that dime flat, too. We got some blitzes.
Right. There'll be some pressure, so don't worry about that. Check out Madden Tips for the winner's kit. All right, we're jumping back into tips here. And this question's coming in from DVNT, wants to know, how can you get back into Madden playing shape for next gen? So if you've been, on a Madden layoff, as they say, what's a 5-day plan to get in? What should you be doing the first time you pick up Madden if you hadn't played since Madden 08?
Number 1, play 2-man under. I don't care what formation it is. Number 1, you're going to have better defense right away by just playing 2-man consistently. So rather than go cover 4, cover 3, go 2-man under. You just get better right away. I think it's the best stock defense in the game.
Yep.
Number 2, run the ball. The game's built to have you run the ball.
Right. You got to learn how to run the ball. So learn by just trying out some different runs, finding out which handoff gets you towards the line going on the best run path. That's why I like the halfback zone weak from single back ace or halfback stretch, just because it puts you on a go path, and then you only have to really choose to make one cut when you see a hole. So use a run like that. I like it a lot. Use concepts that work every year. Use tight formations that have mesh. We'll be showing those later in the show. Use curl flats. It's still a great play. Consistently work that. You got to learn how to run the ball, though. And if you ever get into trouble and you're facing somebody who has good pressure, block a halfback. That's going to be pretty successful for you. I feel like that's one tip that in older Maddens, people always had great blitzes, and it was tough to pick them up sometimes. But in the new ones, you can always, if you block a halfback or block a tight end or slide or do something, you do anything, you can pretty much get it done. And just learn the new buttons, learn the new controls. So there's a lot you can do before it snaps. You can baseline. You saw that tip earlier. You can stop outs by shading a guy to the outside. Do that. You got to learn the buttons, though. You can't just say, oh, man, I haven't played Madden in 5 years. There's all this new stuff. I quit. You got to just take a second, go into practice mode with 2 controllers, turn them in and play on for the defense, throw 100 passes, and say, I can hot route this now? Oh, I used to never be able to hot route a swing pass to the halfback. He used to have weird hot routes.
Slant outs and stuff.
Great. Slant outs aren't there anymore. So get familiar with the new game and controls, but generally if you use those tips, you should be pretty good to get back in shape.
Right, and I think the easiest way for you to get better is, so again, that 2-man under, run the ball, and specifically run the ball, I would say go to a gun spread in the Philadelphia Eagles playbook. I would look to run some read option and simple halfback dives. Read option is very, very effective. It's going to put a little bit of pressure on you to read the defensive end, but the learning curve with it is quick. I think a lot of people don't usually key in on containing the quarterback, so I think that setting yourself up in that way so that you have a simple offense where you're going to run something like curl flats, read options, a couple halfback screens, play standard 2-man under defense from like a dollar formation. I think that's the quickest way for you to kind of be competitive very quickly.
All right, that will get you back in. Good question from DVNT. This next one here is from Pac-Man720. What amount of throw power would be the minimum for a quarterback? So this is a question that's going to carry over on both gens, because throw power and all the routes and stuff are pretty similar. How much throw power do you need, Gibbs? Who's the lowest throw power quarterback you've ever used?
I'll go. So the lowest throw power, I think, for
got to be Alex Smith, right? Back in the day, or
no. See, that's he's too low for me. I would say the lowest I'll go is 90.
So you found a guy you don't like?
Maybe 89.
Really?
But I say that, but then I use Josh Johnson. So
what's he got?
I think he's 89, to be honest.
So throw power, guys. What does it do? I mean, when do you feel it the most, Gibbs? What would you say?
If you want to throw a deep ball and you have a guy,
want it to get there kind of fast?
I think it's just the depth that it goes. So Josh Johnson has 89. That's the lowest I'll go. But I wouldn't use him if this was like Drew Brees. I don't really like Drew Brees because he can't really throw that deep ball. Whereas like if I'm going to use a pocket quarterback, why would I just use Aaron Rodgers, who kind of has the arm, has a little bit of speed, or why wouldn't I just use Tom Brady? Why wouldn't I use one?
Peyton
of those
Manning
guys?
has like 96 throw power, I think.
Does he? I think he's got 89.
They should nerf him, though, because he hasn't
no,
thrown a good deep ball.
He's got 89.
He hasn't thrown a non-wobbly pass since 1994.
Right. So, that's kind of like there's the bar, which is 89 or 90, I would say, but you'd only want to use a guy that has that type of throw power.
If he has something else.
Like Josh Johnson.
That he can do.
Like Andy Dalton just kind of doesn't get it done for me. He doesn't have the greatest throw power in the world. 86.
To me,
that scares me a little.
For me, I mean, you can use an Andy Dalton. You can use a guy with 80 throw power, Colt McCoy, whatever. Chad Pennington's never had good throw power. They can't throw deep. Tom Brady used to not be able to throw deep. That's true. That was a knock on the guy.
Was it? Yeah, and then, until he had a guy he could throw deep to. Randy Candy Moss.
Just throw it up one time.
Throw it up one time.
But you got to just work your offense differently. I don't remember Alex Smith having great throw power, so that would be last year's game, but he had great short accuracy. So I threw a lot of outs. I threw a lot of routes over the middle. You're talking to a guy right here who doesn't throw routes more than 10 yards in the air.
For the most part.
I don't understand why he really wants that deep throw power, but there will be a time when
you need it.
You need it.
I noticed it at the end of a game.
Yeah. You need it to get the ball downfield. So eventually, you're going to have to actually throw deep. So that's Gibbs' bar. You just got to play it differently. But, yeah, I mean, if you're drafting somebody or you're making a quarterback, get them up to 90, just to be safe.
90 is definitely the bar.
All right. Next question here from John Stamos, 8520. 1, 2, 3. John Stamos. 1, 2, 3. Good housekeeping. That's from Step Brothers. All right. What routes and concepts can be used to create picks and rubs versus man defense? So we'll just go back to an old basic. We'll go next-gen Madden, even though this has worked on current-gen Madden for 3 gazillion years, I want to say. And this works in the NFL every single Sunday. You got to go with a formation like a tight formation which we don't even have, but we'll find something. You can just do single back, yeah. Anything with receivers in tight, in close. So anything called close, anything called snugs, anything called
tight,
single back, ace, tight, flex, all that jazz. When you play man-to-man defense, guys are going to have to line up. You'll see they actually switch off better on next gen. Is that true, or is that just me?
They definitely do, but one key thing here is you see how the misaligned defenders on the outside. Yeah. That's on purpose. That's by design. That's how it is. So
right. And there's a true NFL fact that guys, when they play they have markers out here. When they're out here, they have like markers in their brain because they play out there all the time. They're comfortable with their drops. When you bring them in, they don't. Like they're inside the numbers, they don't have the same knowledge of like the interior of the field, and when they drop, they get lost sometimes. So that's a real thing in football, and I mean snugs is obviously very tough to defend.
So reset your play here real quick. So the key here is crossing patterns against a tight set like this. You usually get that misaligned definitely on the outside. So if you run slants and things like that, you can see how square is wide open.
Is buck.
Square just absolutely wide open as well.
Yeah.
So that's one easy way to get him free.
And so he's talking about picks and rubs. Obviously, a formation like bunch, you've seen receivers get picked. But, I mean, how is this guy, this defender, he's got to cut back. But look at all these guys running into each other. Just a lot of traffic. Like, this area of the field is just tough. I mean, that's real life. Like, I played pickup football on Saturday when I wasn't throwing 7 touchdowns and had to play defense. I did. Like, we were running, everyone just kept running crossing routes because that's all that, like, people that aren't any good can do. Like, everyone would just run up and cross. But there was people, like, I almost probably ran into my buddy, like, 3 times, like, crossing, like, oh! And imagine if there's big dudes and guys that actually want to run into you. Like, we were trying everything we could, and we weren't even running half speed.
Right.
Like, it just creates madness. So, mesh is a play in every single playbook, every single type formation. It's going to win all the time. It's just, and then you switch it up and you throw a zig.
Right.
If you can make a good read, you're going to complete passes. It's going to cause trouble.
So mesh, a play that you're talking about, it looks like this. This is all mesh looks like. It's usually 2 verticals, a corner, a drag, and then underneath. You'd have like Eifert here, it's an underneath drag. So you have 2 crossing patterns over the middle of the field. And again, what that does is, who's the open receiver? And next time I hit the wrong button.
I think they're switching off.
Are they?
It depends. So it really depends on the formation.
You can figure it out. No, they didn't switch off.
No, he just hit him. He just ran into him. So I like the stock. So this is a pro tip. So there are routes that are It's the standard drag yet circle. There are routes that are the standard drags. If you were to hot route 2 drags, they're going to run into each other because they're the same depth. But the mesh routes that are out there, they're kind of like different regular drags, and they don't really hit each other. So I noticed that. So if you're running mesh,
there's a slight difference between this stock route to green.
Yeah,
it's so slight you might not see it. But
yeah,
from that hot route to that, it's a little. That hot route is a little deeper. Where if I do the double drags, you saw that they were running into each other.
It's circle.
Gives them time to catch up.
It's like putting 2 guys on the same path. Whereas if the play of the standard is they're gonna not exactly hit each other, which is nice. So if you're gonna know you want a mesh concept like 3rd and 2, you just want to hit a quick crosser over them. It'll leave the standard routes and then hot route somebody else. So that's what I would say. Zigs, such a great hot route. Never use it. Always great.
So good.
It's so good. Like
it like always gets open.
It's pretty consistently going to work over the middle of the field. So those are formations and routes you can use to get that pick and rub over the middle. Let's take a look here at our next mailbag question. We got one coming in from JC20. What's an effective run or formation for next gen Madden like PS4? So we'll take a look here at the PS4. We're back on it. And like we said, running the ball is a little bit different than current gen, just with the type of run handoffs you need. To me, the most important thing for me when running is that you get a good handoff. That some handoffs, they'll like put your runner the wrong way, and then if you're holding the other thing, like you'll stutter step instantly. So I don't hold the left stick when I take the handoff. I never do until after because I don't want to make my running back go the wrong way.
So a good run here, guys, on Next Gen Madden 25 PS4 here, I think, is from the Pistol Ace Twins and the San Francisco 49ers Niners playbook. In my opinion, right now, best run in the game. The play, strong power. We were talking earlier about the pulling guards. So this play has 2 pulling guards, and I think it's got the like a halfback stretch angle, which I really like. And Farls was just talking about how important it is to have a good angle of attack when you get the ball and then go. So I think that this run has a good angle, and I get the 2 pulling guards. They pancake people, and it's extremely effective. Right there, I was able to get outside the edge. And one thing I'll note about this formation is it's usually a pretty good indicator of man-to-man or zone. So a lot of times when you see that there's not an extra defender on this left side, so if you were in like a regular zone and then you did a base line, a lot of times what that does is it puts the extra defender over there. So that's how people usually call zone. So I can kind of already tell because of the Twins, okay, it's zone because there's another defender on that left side.
Right. No, this guy wouldn't be manned up and be out here.
Right.
He would. There's no man. Even if he was on a cover 2, he would be here.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. So what I would say there is if I recognize that, what I do is I playmaker the run to the opposite side because I know I have an advantage in numbers now to the right, and I look to run the ball off this right edge. And again, I think this run has the best point of attack to get the ball and then to cut in the game. And it's all about trying to get that key block right there. You saw, and you see how I was able to kind of swing my hips and get out wide of that defender.
Let me feel this run.
This is show that replay though. Show that replay because you had the pancake there. Watch the pancake on that defender.
Yeah, we're getting 2 moving guys.
Watch this. And 65. Boom. And that's what you get. And right here, I feel like a lot of runs in this year's game, I'm tackled. I don't have the flexibility to cut around like that. But this run, I have it. And you get that pancake so often, it's ridiculous. And you got pancake there.
So I held turbo too fast. I didn't give my guy time to get out there and pancake. Big mistake by me. You almost got to suck him in by getting in behind him and waiting for him.
I think this defender usually is back a little bit more, and that will key in more a little bit. But
and there I should have taken up the middle.
I've run this a million times. This is your first time running it. So
I gotta work on it. I like the angle.
You could cut it in, you could cut it out, depending on where you get down the outside there. I really, really like this run. It's my favorite run of the game.
Give me single back ace halfback zone week over this run any day.
Really?
Any day, son.
Really?
Although I will say with single back with this run, with my run, you can't cut it outside like you used to be able to. So that hurts sometimes because sometimes that's the only area and you can't get there. But generally, it's more consistent in my opinion.
Here's that run.
But
it's from a tight set.
Yeah, I don't want it in tight, but yeah.
It's all right. Yeah?
That's law firm. Let me see.
Pretty good blocking.
It's pretty good. My problem, like I said, you can't cut it outside if you see it there. You can't maybe you can with the tight.
Benny? Ooh, big read. Benny?
So
the tight you might be able to, yeah.
My fear is that if I see that it's opened up, I can't get there, which I could last gen.
Right.
But what I like about this one is, like I said, if I don't hold left stick until right now, I can just take this run and go straight.
Right.
And that, I tell you what, that's almost better on next gen than it is on last gen. The ability to just 2 yards. I just need 2 yards. Boom, get it up.
Right, and I think too that where I think the pistol run, I feel like you have a little more control. Because I think the point of where the halfback gets the ball is a little further back.
Yeah.
So that means I feel like that gives you more flexibility because you're not getting the ball right behind the offensive line. It's a little further back.
Dislike pulling guards. Obviously, the Saints run I-form tight strong power on Xbox 360 is one of the best runs in the game. So you know that tactic is good. I got to harness it. I got to run that a couple hundred times. All right, here we go. Next question in the mailbag.
Boom.
Coming in from Double J65 is running outside alive on Next Gen Madden. Example, toss. So Double J was saying in the forum where you can submit Madden questions. If you go to maddentips.com/forums, you can submit your mailbag questions. He was saying that he felt like the toss for the first time. And I also got a question on how do you stop how do you stop strong close toss? So somebody else at Honda, I think, asked that question. So clearly people are having success with the toss.
Yeah, so when I look at outside runs on Next Gen, I think about the pancakes. I think that's part of the reason why I like the pulling guards so much because
Let me try a couple.
I'm noticing that on Next Gen you get ridiculous amounts of pancakes. Like that's a win right there. And because you get that pancake, you blow him up. They don't have a chance to hold that defender, and then that blocker gets to the next level.
Here's where I would disagree.
I just think they're better. I'm not saying that they're the best runs in the game, but I think they're better than the current gen.
Here's where I would disagree here's why I think strong. So he asked about strong close halfback toss. Because here's why I think it would work. Because the receiver in a tight formations where that guy is right now, in like a strong pro, he'd be out here. This guy won't hold this block circle. He's going to ruin this play, I believe.
Yeah? Or just dominate it.
But if he was a receiver,
right.
Like I can't tell you how many times I've ran single back ace.
So flip the run, or playmaker the run.
My bad. I can't tell you how many times I've ran single back ace on Xbox 360, and I've had the best. I've had 2 Hines Wards out there. Never a block's been broken off. That's why I can cut outside. It's not a problem with cutting it outside. It's that the cornerbacks break off their blocks on next gen, whereas on current gen you can't at all.
Green did a good job
Here
there.
he blocked there, but whereas at least with strong close, this guy's not gonna. He's gonna get out of the way, and anybody that he faces coming from over there is gonna get pancaked, and that might seal the edge better. But for me, remember in Madden 13, you couldn't break it outside. Sometimes the receiver would just completely whiff on his block. They fixed that. It got, in my opinion, we talked about earlier, a little overpowered. Now, as long as they're getting hit when they're in motion, you're going to get the pancake. But I feel like if you got to stand out there, the reason you can't get outside is because they're going to break off their blocks, and they should. They shouldn't be held out there for that long. But that's my experience with the strong toss.
Here's what I think. I think that on current gen,
so the toss
on current gen we almost got away from running tosses since Madden 12.
Right.
Really, since Madden 11. Madden 12 it was pretty good
because they wouldn't find their guy and like block them.
So we got away from tosses and outside runs on current gen. On next gen, I think it's we always keep saying this, more realistic because you have a chance to really bust an outside run because of those impact blocks. Because the dice roll is much higher. Am I going to pancake that guy like that? It gives me the chance to just go and and get to a 20-yard gain, and that's what tosses are designed for.
Right. And so what I've been saying is, try not to run to a side where you have a guy blocked out here, because with single back ace, my experience has been this. When I cut it outside, I mean he held it there for a while, but I've been getting tackled by this guy where I never got tackled by that guy on the old game. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the new game, I feel like the outside blocking is not as great. At least with close, this guy's out of the way, and anybody that gets blocked on the outside is going to be from an impact block, and you should win. Try and find runs like that.
I like it.
All right.
For big plays.
For big plays.
Not a 3rd and 1. You should not run a toss.
Unless it's wide open.
True.
Hey, sometimes, I mean, it's not the best idea, but it's either going to be -3 yards or 50 yards.
Correct.
You know?
Especially with a guy like Jamal Charles.
All right, here we go. Honda wants to know, how do you throw streaks on next gen? His defender seems like he's beat, but is always there to make a play in one-on-one situations. So, Honda, let's take a look. So we'll, it might just be a speed differential thing. I mean, you should still be, it depends on the coverage, but like we say, 2 men under, you're going to get the trail technique. So if there's no safety, he's just going to be behind him, and you got to just lead him deep. We'll put A.J. Green out there. I mean, who's a fast, good corner?
Culliver.
Madden Ultimate Team Deion Sanders.
I go Culliver. Culliver gets it done.
And we'll just put A.J. Green on a go. Like I say, I step up in the pocket when I throw deep. Obviously, I got Andy Dalton out here. I'm going to test the throw power thing we talked about earlier. Quick note, S. Gibbs and I, we are at the Best Buy tournaments locking in right now, and we'll be back next Wednesday, faux show. All right. So next gen question here. Let's send it deep to square. Get the safety out of the way, and let's see if he catches up to him. And like I said, I stepped up, I throw deep, and that's maybe what Honda's experiencing.
He can't get it there. Well, he shouldn't. I mean, 89 was Green. 89, 90 speed versus 95 in Culliver. Culliver should have that catch-up speed. And Dalton doesn't have the best throw power. Dalton doesn't have the throw power. He really doesn't.
So can you man up? Well, you're not going to get 2 man, but we'll go back out and then we'll try and put it faster. We'll put Ted Ginn.
Don't have Ted Ginn.
Not Ted Ginn.
Archel Hawkins.
Archel Hawkins.
And let's take a look.
Then we'll put Carlos Rogers.
Yeah.
Because he should technically be better than Culliver.
But slower.
And then this is why Gibbs, explains in all the guides why you need to sub certain guys in at certain places. McCaleb, who's the other guy you like there? Terrence Newman, and then why he likes to put his more talented guys in on the inside.
So let's take a look at this.
He should win, even though he's not obviously as good as A.J. Green, and the other guy is technically better.
But see, I think Dalton messes up here. I think, nope, he wins that. He wins. And he wins that matchup. So a little bit more speed.
So use your speed to your advantage. If it's 2 men under.
Try that again, though. See.
I wish Andy Dalton would honestly throw it further, I think, right? I'm stepping up into it and trying to lead it over.
So that's a real thing. So it's the speed. Speed's deciding who's going to win that against 2 men under. So a guy like, here's an interesting thing. Let me try, maybe it's the DB too. Let me try putting Culliver back on there. Because my question is this. If you know that, it doesn't matter who the DB is, A.J. Green's not getting separation on 2 men under, if that's a real thing, which we have to figure out, that's a huge pro tip because wherever A.J. Green is, if I called 2 men under, I just know I can leave him one-on-one on an island.
Essentially, yes.
Leave Hawkins.
Okay. I got to put him in there. 12. Into different formation. Okay, 16. Good.
Yeah. So it's the speed of receiver because that's Culliver. Culliver should be stopping him there as he was stopping A.J. Green. So let's see if it is again. Culliver stopped that one. Yeah, he stopped that one. So
it's like a more even battle.
It's a battle, whereas I think A.J. Green just doesn't get it done because
the wheels.
He doesn't have the speed to get it done.
Right.
And another thing too could be throw power, but
I'd really like him to throw this further.
I don't think he's gonna.
No.
Try Josh Johnson.
Let me try on a straight. I'll put him on an actual streak rather than that's like a route streak.
Try Josh Johnson too. Josh Johnson might get that done. He's got
throwing streaks, and this is next gen, guys. So how do you throw streaks on next gen? Well, you're gonna need some wheels.
I'm
gonna need
Josh Johnson, the quarterback.
Joe Johnson, quarterback. Boston, Brooklyn Nets.
All right, so here's the throw. Josh Johnson should have a little bit more leg in his arm.
Yeah, It just felt better. It felt faster.
Yeah.
It didn't really help me, but I felt like I threw it further.
Okay.
And the rush was in my face there.
Was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
You just beat him one-on-one, I reckon.
Okay.
Got hit there.
All right. So let me give you time in the pocket. The old pocket
Just
here.
want to step up, boys.
Give you time in the old
I'll
pocket,
launch
though.
this rig.
That was a little further.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that felt good.
So
let's
there's that
try
threshold.
AJ Green with Josh Johnson one more time.
Okay.
And obviously AJ Green's gonna be able to click on it. We're not saying Hawkins is better. It's just for streaks that are from
speed,
2-man
yeah.
under, because 2-man under is just gonna trail him. That's how you gotta roll, boys. Need to find a man called AJ Green.
Should probably.
Come on, AJ. Win.
All right. So we have AJ here.
I gotta put Josh in though. I got AD.
So again, so that's
bonkers.
a nice little tip right there. If we,
It's a good question from Honda.
well, here's the thing. It doesn't. I don't think AJ Green can beat Culliver, even with him. So if I know that, like if you go through and figure that out for every receiver,
Right.
That's a huge
yeah,
tip.
What speed guy do you need to cover this guy? And obviously we're gonna smoke him on like an out. We're gonna smoke him on a slant probably. And generally it's not good practice to take away the deep safety with 2-man under, but worst case scenario,
if I know I can win that battle every time,
like Percy Harvin's gonna get open.
so Josh Johnson is the factor.
So you need throw power,
So
which
you-
goes back to the tip earlier in the night. 89
You
throw
need
power.
you need a threshold.
In like for Honda, really step up into the throw. Really hold. I'm holding full up on the left stick when I launch this rock. I'm throwing it as far as I can because
So it's throw
what you
power. It really
a
is.
little bit of speed, but also throw power.
It's a little bit of speed, but it's throw power.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's so maybe that's the threshold. 89 seems like it's a threshold.
I like it. All right, here we go. Next question in the mailbag coming up from Splashy McSplash. Who else? Is it worth using the QB avoidance stick in Madden 25? So, good question here from Splashy. And I've labbed it on current gen. So every year we get the game, you got to go back and try all the stuff. You got to try spotlighting receivers, which we broke down on TWIM 94 at the 57-minute mark of the video. We try shading outs. We try do QB spies attract linemen. We try does the QB avoidance stick actually worth it this year? Is 2-man under the same? We go through this whole checklist. It's like a car, like you know when you go to Jiffy Lube and they're like oil bay 3, oil pressure, checking lube, checking tire, caps on, double check tap. Okay, we do that. We give Madden a full point inspection. We give it everything. We change its oil, and I've obviously tried it. I don't like it for current gen. Have I tried it for next gen? Not really, because I didn't figure it was any bit better. So what he's talking about is the right stick, QB avoidance. And that just means if I use the right stick, you see me big benning in the pocket, hopping like a bunny rabbit. If what they're saying is a well-timed QB avoidance could potentially, I'd rather just move with the left stick because you have more control. But what generally a well-timed QB avoidance could, and see now that I'm out of the pocket, I'm going to pump fake with right stick, which is also going to cause you to fumble.
I'm going to tell you no every time. Every time, and here's why.
What about stepping up in the pocket?
No.
Gibbs?
This is the main. It has nothing to do with stepping up in the pocket.
You can't actually use it up. You can only use it back, left, and right.
But it has nothing to do with any of that. It has nothing to do with trying to emulate real football. Here's why. The more time, the more it doesn't matter. You're going to get sacked again anyways. But the more time you have your right thumb off of the button icon to throw to receiver, the less you're going to complete a pass.
You miss 99% of the shots you don't take.
So if you're too busy flicking the right stick, you can't. So unless you do some type of Call of Duty claw stuff here and you play Madden with the claw, you don't take your finger off an icon to throw the ball, because if you have a window, the guy's open, you got to throw it. If you're too busy doing the right stick jukes, you're not going to be able to throw it to a receiver.
Yeah, and watch this avoidance. I make my own QB avoidance. Ready?
Right.
Ready?
Right. How is that not a million times better?
Quicker. See, if you pump fake, though, you fumble. Pro tips, don't do that. That's a real thing. I'm telling you.
Right.
So
just throw it out the window. Don't even do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
It's not worth it. Because here,
so you're telling me that wasn't worth it. That was the coolest thing that ever happened to me.
But then you still got sacked for a yard.
Made it out.
You still got sacked. That's the other thing, too, is I think that when you do the QB avoidance, you missed one guy.
You're really focusing on it.
Right, you focus on it, but and not the receivers.
And you lose a full sack animation. So here we see the sack, we use the right stick, we pop out of the way, we break the sack. Pretty cool. But then you're still in a danger zone.
Right, now you're scrambling. You weren't looking at receivers because you're too busy.
Right. Whereas if you just see that guy rip around there,
just
all you got to do is just
scramble.
Just run on your own.
Go. That's a million times better than
pump fake. I'm gonna fumble.
They both fell for that pump fake. By the way.
But it's so risky though.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So next question.
Next question.
Just don't do it. End of story. Don't do it. Don't do it.
All right.
Or throw it away.
Don't do it. Yeah, not worth it. I mean, it does work. The button thing works. And
Definitely works.
And I'm sure you get a break tackle percentage, but I don't think it's good. Gibbs got dots. What are some highlights of the Tampa Bay D-book? We'll go back to current gen on this one. We have the question ready to be answered over here. And since that's my book that I use for Madden Ultimate Team and for general life decisions, I will tell you what I like about it. So if we see here, we will get on current generation of 360 Madden. Tampa Bay playbook. So starting out, you have 4-3. So you have the Over Plus, which is from our first defensive book, available in the winner's kit, MaddenTips.com. You're obviously going to get all that stuff. So you can run all the 4-3 Over Plus, the Bold Flavors 3.0, all that jazz. There's 4-3 Under, which is one of the quickest blitzes in the game with Edge Sting. That's from our YouTube channel. A good blitz to have.
You also have the new Detroit defenses in that 4-3 with the 4-3 Under. So if you go back in there, you also have the play Will Punch 3 Seam.
Will Punch 3 Seam.
So you have that entire scheme in there mixed in.
So that's two playbooks you can run off of. The other thing you get is 5-2. So, 5-2 is generally a pretty good formation. We've broken it down before. It's also broken down in one of the guides. Pretty easy to just, have 5D linemen and just have everybody occupied. So if they're going to run the ball, hey, you know what? You got all 5 defensive linemen broken down, matched up, and now you're the linebackers. Those two guys are going to be free to run.
Right. So it's also the ice defense as well.
Right. It's just less setups, easier adjustments. So I like the 5-2. That's why I have it in there. The nickel 3-3-5. That's the original Ice D. My favorite play in the game. 2-man under on last gen. Obviously very good. Still pretty good on next gen. You have nickel normal, which is pretty decent. You don't actually, you have the sugar cover 3 bluff, so you can make some different concepts, so you can pack some guys in. Not bad. You have dime, which I don't really use. You have $326, which is similar to 3-3-5. Like if I don't have a playbook that has 3-3-5, I use $, because it's got 3 down linemen. You get pretty much a similar blitz angle, and you can kind of ice it with that. But and then the last thing, obviously every playbook has the quarters, but I really like quarters cover 3 for like end of game situations that we showed earlier. So I just feel like with the 4-3 and the 3-3-5, I want a playbook that always has those. Then I get 5-2, because you can go through all the books and just make a little check mark of, okay, this book has this, but it doesn't have this. This book has this, but this book has 3-3-5 and dime flat, but it doesn't have 5-2. This book has 5-2 and it has 4-3, but it doesn't have any of the sugar. This book has this, and it's like, people are like, well, you put out the Detroit guy, but you use Tampa Bay. Well, it's got pretty much all the same stuff. It's just there's small, subtle differences. Gibbs likes to use 3-3-5 only 20% of the time because he only calls man that much, where I call man 80% of the time. But Gibbs likes this zone, so he wants this dime flat a little bit more than I want this book. So, generally, I could change it up and be fine. Like, you could change this playbook on me, and as long as it had 3-3-5, I wouldn't really notice until I was like, wait, where's 5-2? After 5 games of playing. But generally, most of the defensive 4-3 base books are very similar.
Right.
So, that's just the way it is. That's how I feel about it. Any other questions here, Gibbs, before we jump into the game of the week? There will be a game of the week tonight. We are, like we said, locked up in action at the Best Buy. Guys, make sure to check out MaddenTips.com and check out the winner's kit. It's good stuff.
No, I was going to say, kind of carrying off of what you said that last there about the Tampa Bay book. One thing about it is that's definitely a book for those ice guys out there that really like ZFarls ice defense. It's probably, pound for pound, might be one of the best ice books in the game because I think the 3.35 and the 5.2 is a better overall ice defense because you had the Minnesota defense, which had the 3.35 and the 4.6.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you don't have the 5.2, and I think the 5.2 is
Right,
very easy
So
to get the pressure from.
If you use Minnesota, you have 3.35, but you have 46. Like we said,
fire.
Which is the fire. But I like 5.2 a little bit more than I like 46. Just a little bit easier for my brain to comprehend with the 5-down lineman. I know that my gaps are all good no matter what, whereas 46, sometimes I got to adjust. And if I'm really just trying to gas, it's a little quicker to use that. So that's something we go
And then the thing with Tampa Bay is you'll have the 4.3 under, which is in the Detroit guide. So now you're mixing the Detroit with the ice, and then you also have the original bold flavors. So Tampa Bay kind of brings it all together.
Right.
Brings the ice, brings the pressure, brings everything together into almost like the perfect playbook on defense for what anyone wants to do.
And why it's good, another reason it's good is because when you're playing a new game for the first time, remember we do that diagnostic check we talked about, check the oil, pay 3, pressure. Caps off, tire pressure 32, moving it. You got to go through all the motions, and it's like a good starting point because it has a 3-down line, 4-down line, and 5-down line. So, hey, last year we used the 43, but it's not as good this year. Now we got to try and see if a 3-down line is good. So when you play in a new game for the first time, you need to go through all your old favorites, see what works and see what doesn't. And with the 3-down line, 4-down line, 5-down line, you can quickly rifle through. When you don't know what you're doing, you don't have good blitzes yet, you run ice. You run the ice from the winner's kit.
Fact.
Because you won't get beat, and if you're going to blitz 6 guys and they're not going to get in, then you're messed up.
There's no point to blitz.
Yeah, there's no point in blitzing, so you drop everybody back, and the ice D obviously helps with that. So until you learn the game, Tampa Bay is a good starting point for me to really mess around with, and that's what I like.
I like it a lot, and I think it's time. I think it's time we lock up.
All right, boys. Game of the week coming up live next. All right, guys, we are back here for the game of the week on TWIM 103, about to lock up against Big Nasty 42. Just a random rank game. Gibbs is going to hopefully get a lead, then let me play. And I will commentate this rig. So I'll explain what Gibbs is doing and look forward to sharing. If you guys are looking for blitzes and tips and offenses and runs, watch this game closely. I know now we're playing J-Ouija. So I know you guys asked specific questions during the tips portion of the show, but this is where you're going to get most of your good stuff out of this show. It's during the game of the week, so get excited. We got a couple different cams for you tonight. So
earlier part of the game, front and center. So the earlier part of the show is obviously we want to answer your guys' questions. That's what the show's about. The show's about you guys. It's about answering your specific questions, giving you
next
a
gen,
platform.
current gen, old gen,
Absolutely.
PS2. I'll answer our PS2 Madden questions.
I wish if we could get a PS2 and play Madden 12 on PS2, how cool would that be? How much fun was that?
It's pretty cool.
I like the different camera angles here. You're the new tech guy, I guess, huh? Do you think people know we're in a different office space?
Yes. Somebody was like, I
Someone
was watching the chat last week, and they're like, something's different. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly what it is, but something's up.
Something's different. And we're in a different space, guys. We moved.
We changed spaces.
Changed the bat channel. Playing the Seahawks. So right off the bat, we know. What do you always do, Falls? You get the ball?
Kick. You always kick. You always kick. You always
Why?
kick. Because at the end of the half, you're going to get the ball back, and you can make your money back.
Absolutely. Duh. And then I do the Gibbs kick now to the opposite side of the field. Try and get a hit stoik. Uh-oh.
Decent rumble right
47 yards. So again, next gen, guys, is another one of those battles where it's all about having to play personnel-wise. So if I see 2 running back, 2 tight end set, I can't really come out in a dime. I really just can't. It's not an option.
Put yourself at a a pretty big disadvantage if you do that, unfortunately. So Hustle Wilson going to roll out left here.
Yikes.
Throw a ball down the left seam. I'm going to assume the chat can let people know that we are playing Next Gen Madden, and I will take down the graphic for now and just put the main one up on the screen here. So Wilson here throws a nice curl. Gibbs talked a little bit earlier about those hook zones and their ability to drop and play. Maybe he's going to have to use some flat zones and buzz zones against this guy if he likes to attack. So if you're a new guy, new players tend to always throw across the middle to the tight ends and on corner routes and things of that nature, where good players use all of the field and throw to the corner routes, because if you just throw over the middle, well then I don't even need to bother defending outside the numbers. So every now and then you got to squeeze in a throw outside the numbers. Otherwise, it's too easy to defend. A good draw there, called by him, and another curl. So
he's doing a lot of curl flats.
Curl flats, a great concept, one of my favorites, and something that's you're going to let him have early in the game, and then you're going to take it away later.
Right.
So that's what I would do if I was S. Gibbs.
So good first drive by him, and that's another thing too. So he's showing that, okay, I can beat the zone coverage. So that's another thing you got to think about is maybe I come out in a man look next time down. McCaleb.
And do you like returns for next gen to cut once, or you just run straight? I like one right stick hard cut to try and get outside. I used to use the left stick to try and get outside, whereas now...
Yeah, I've been running more straight headline, just right at him.
Gibbs going with Z-spot here. So this is a play that we've shown in the winner's kit, fully how to run it completely. But what you'll notice, we're using it on next gen, even though it's currently out for current gen. It's going to work 99% the same. So why not just use it, you know? Good play by him to shut a block there as well. Give him a little bit of credit, not too much though. So
I saw that was zone, and you got to watch out for Sherman. Sherman jumps that route.
Shermanator will jump that route more so than he ever did on a last gen of the game. In there, a nice route to Hawkins. Picks up some yards for S. Gibbs. Pretty nice play there. Gibbs is going to run the hurry-up offense and try and get this guy with the run game. Bernard fits through the hole. You'll see that where he tucked his body right there, where he kind of did that maneuver. You'll see that more on next gen. They'll be more aware of the players around them. And you're definitely got no flat zones out to the left. So I think he has all hooks, and he appears to be dropping back to the left side.
So great little pro tip from Farls right there.
Good cut.
That was a little shout out to Farls. I threw that just knowing that that I trusted you, Farls.
I like that play right there a lot. That was a good look. And yeah, he seemed to be dropping back on the left side. So
pro tip, Farls, why do I come out in goal line wide receiver wing?
So that he doesn't know that you are in goal line, and then you can just QB sneak. Obviously, if you come out in goal line, he's going to assume it's a QB sneak, whereas here he's got to assume he's just going to run something, and now all of a sudden it's QB sneak. He has no time to commit. You pop it in for a touchdown anytime you're less than 1 yard.
Right, because the player personnel shows, if you come out wide receiver wing, it shows as one wide receiver, two tight ends, and two running backs, so then they're going to think, oh, I form. So I form like tight, or I form twins or something. So if you
sly dog.
Right, so if you come out in the goal line wing package, you're not going to show that 0 receivers, 3 tight ends. So that's one of the reasons why you do that.
You sly dog.
Sly dog.
Gibbs still goes with the short kickoff on next gen. I personally kick deep every play. So on next gen, kick deep. They can't cut. They can't get outside. I've let up one kick return, and it was super lucky in 50 to 75 next gen games. Don't waste your time kicking short like S. Gibbs. He's got the ball to 36. Stupid. The guy's not getting past the 20 on next gen. Fact. that ability to cut and get outside that scares you on 360, not there in my opinion. So there, Lynch gets bottled up, gets contained by the defensive line, and when you run into the line like that, you know, it's tough to move the chains, in my opinion. Although Gibbs likes shotgun runs, I'm not a huge shotgun run guy. Sack lunch, nope. QB avoidance stick, no, I'm just kidding. Done that. Wow, you just got really pop. Wow. So a super
maybe he
lucky,
used QB avoidance.
I don't know. That was a good rush by you right there, but obviously he was able to break that pretty nicely there on the Game of the Week. Twim 103 once again. S. Gibbs and I competing at the Best Buy tournament tonight in Boston. But we'll be back next Wednesday. Of course, this is a brand new show with a full hour of tips and a full Game of the Week right here. Marshawn Lynch getting nothing. See how he stutter-stepped when he tried to break it outside? That's why super dangerous. That's what's super dangerous in my opinion.
And that's where that dime personnel is a bad matchup against the run. You saw he almost busted that. So
yeah, he did a pretty good job getting that outside there. Here we're seeing the pistol formation.
There's that sack, baby.
So he had a pretty good read there. You did a good job dropping deep though over the middle, and he had a corner out left, and then he had a corner out coming a post over the middle to try and 6 seconds left here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and end of the quarter. So a solid first quarter, good first drive by him. Gibbs obviously ramping up and bringing some pressure in the second part of this quarter, and let's see if the zone blitz that we showed earlier on this week in Madden Show 103 can get some pressure on the quarterback. How do you feel overall, Gibbs, so far? He's locked in. He's locked in. If he doesn't answer, that means he's locked in. Some slot pressure, some hook zones, and a curl. And you'll give him an 11-yard curl on 4th and 13. You can't find the sticks.
See, that's why I still think the hooks are pretty good on next gen too, because see how he played that so that's
he's going to go for it here. He's got one receiver, one tight end, and a big play here. And Gibbs didn't get his play, and that's okay. That's okay. He was better to call timeout and get the play you want called rather than just try and go with it. So huge 4th and 2 coming up right here on the Game of the Week. Let's see. Gibbs is setting his personnel up. He's going to go quarters. He's going to bring Taylor Mays down. Wilson getting ready to take the snap. He's got Lynch making some adjustments, and he looks for spacing concept, and he's going to scramble. Geno Atkins can't pick up. So he ran a spacing concept with 3 curls to the right. The furthest receiver on the right actually just broke off downfield.
I saw that.
He didn't go for it, which was pretty lucky, but that would have been a risky throw with the game on the line.
And he ran spacing because he was anticipating zone, I'm assuming.
And you did a good job bringing your guys down and being in position to hopefully get the stop. Once again, Gibbs taking on just a random dude in the Game of the Week. Gets a stop there.
It's pretty good. Makes good play calls.
Some good players on this game so far. Been enjoying the online experience of Next Gen Madden so far. Gibbs going to man up. Got one spy. And the pressure just gets to Wilson. Now a big 3rd and 6 coming up in a second here. And throw down the seam. The ball is broken up, and we're going to have another big down coming up right here on... He's going to take the field goal. All right, so I respect that. He's going to take the field goal. A nice hit there to jar the ball loose and catching traffic. Zach Miller pretty good, but ultimately unable to hang on to the beam.
And, that's a lot of times that's where guys like to target the tight end. That's why I went to click over to be that defender.
He missed it.
Ooh, he missed it.
We saw that full screen right there. He missed the kick. I don't know how you miss a kick. I don't know. I don't think it's harder on next gen, but
hey,
you'll take what you can get. Am I right?
It's a long. Was that a long field goal?
It wasn't terribly long. So Gibbs going to go with a screen pass here to the left side of the field.
A lot of zone,
Maybe
I think.
Expecting a. And note the setup, guys. If you're a new player and you're like, why did you motion that guy? Well, if you saw earlier in the game, he motioned that guy every time. So he's 6 for 6. He motioned the receiver. It looked the same to me. If you weren't watching from this camera, you'd just think it was that same play again. Why is he running the same? Well, he just ran a screen, and it worked to his advantage. Here he's going to do the same thing and hit Bernard under the middle. Was that an option route?
Yeah.
So, guys, against zone, Bernard is on an option route. He's going to sit in that soft spot in the zone. If it's man-to-man, Bernard's going to go outside and run a man-to-man beating route. So that's why an option route is great out of backfield. He's not rushing anybody. Once again, maybe a potential draw or just sneak with Johnson, get 5-yard slide. Also, nobody in the flat once again. So a lot of hook zones spread pretty wide from this gentleman here.
So it looks like a 2-man under look now.
Yeah. And a nice run by Gio.
That's why you get a ZFarls.
Notice how Gibbs, super tender.
No turbo.
Super tender on the 6 right there.
No turbo.
Gio was running like a boat there. See how he like dipped his shoulders? That means that he's not really being drastic with the stick. He's not cutting super hard. And
love this matchup. Love it. See ya. See ya. That's the matchup I'm talking about. That's why you get that play. So you get that. So now I'm going to open it up. I'm going to try and get the inside lane here with the read option, hopefully. Seal off that edge. Oh, this is touchdown. Touchdown to Gio.
Gio Bernard for the red right there.
Uh-oh. My mic. Sorry for people.
So Gibbs scores, goes up 13-7. And a nice play call there, Gibbs. What'd you see? You knew you were going to score. You just got the right matchup that you wanted. You saw man-to-man defense, so you went to that strong power we showed earlier.
Yeah, anytime you're in a formation that's like a 4-3, 4-3 or 3-4, you're going to get that. You saw that Twins, like I knew it was man-to-man, and there was no defender outside the hip of the tight end. So I know that they can't really defend that read option, and they can't really defend that strong power very well because the defenders aren't in the right spot to be able to scrape the edge. And you saw how I got my guard to kick, and then I got that huge impact block, which just absolutely destroyed him and was able to get me in the end zone. So here I'm going to go for a long kick. He's got Harvin, though.
No, he's got Curse.
Okay.
Boom, 20-yard line every time. I mean, he went to cut there. Impossible. Impossible, boys. Kick it deep. Kick it deep until you let up 3 kicks. Either 2 in one game you can stop, or 3 overall. You'll be kicking until next week, next month. So this guy likes to roll left, and I mean
pressure's making roll left. Thank you.
And he threw over the line of scrimmage there, so a nice play for us.
I was going to say that would have been tough for that to happen. So now he's getting a little more passing, so I'm able to call a little bit more of my dime flat blitzes, which is it's starting to pay off. But now this is where.
So once again, Gibbs sees 2 tight ends and 1 running back. He's got to at least go down to personnel that is respectable to that. If he just comes out and dime, this guy could run pretty hard on him.
So you saw the left side though.
Screen,
yeah. Scrape. Good. Third down.
Good tackle again. Third down. 2-minute warning. So Gibbs gets ball, so he's got to be thinking stop here. This guy's got plenty of time to score, but ultimately Gibbs at this point should be thinking, I don't want to take my timeouts yet, but I want to score one more, no matter if he scores or not. Third and 3, a big play coming. Ray Maliuga sugaring the A and down the seam. The ball is dropped. Now, he should punt this. I think he's going to go for it, though.
He might be on tilt. And why did he throw that there? I wanted him to throw that because the defenders are outside the hip of the tight end, so it makes it appear that he's open.
And he's going for it. So this is probably the biggest play of the game thus far. Let's see what he does here.
So quick little tip thing I did there.
Just took another timeout.
I want Geno Atkins off that spy guy because he can't chase him down.
All right, so yeah, Gibbs is expecting a possible rollout here, so I respect that. All right, guys, let's see. He's going empty. Could he run spacing again? Could he...
He's going to the tight end.
Could he go to the tight end? Could he go with Wilson? He's going with Wilson. And Dunlap is going to not get there for 3 yards.
It's all right. So Dunlap's not going to chase him down. Let's try our next guy.
And so, pretty good speed, obviously, for... can you do a contain spy? I know you want the one-on-one rush, but this guy's pretty rollout heavy. Gibbs gets stuck on the spy here. Man-to-man beater to the inside to Curse. Good play. Good play. He's going to roll. Dive tackle. Dive tackle.
We'll take the scrambles. We really will.
Okay. All right, here we go. Tight. Wilson looking to roll. Got the corner routes not open. Looking to get a receiver who's come back over the middle field. Could have been out of bounds. He's going to throw the ball away.
He's not looking right now.
Scrimmage.
Right now, he's not. He is not looking to pass. He's just trying to survive and scramble. That's what he's trying.
Can you gas him?
I'm gonna. He was in a no huddle,
Or can
so I
you
was.
double spy him or something? I mean,
I'll send some pressure.
Not that you're not containing him. I mean, this guys. It looks okay. Yeah, this guy's a cowboy. These plays aren't consistent. He's not gonna be able to make consistent plays against this defense. It's here. He's got to roll left away from his pressure, and that's a sack lunch. No. So when you
like a timeout
when
here,
you have to roll, I do. Because you get an incomplete pass 4th and 20, you get the ball. Otherwise, he just lets it tick all the way down. Unless he's going to hike it pretty fast, then you'll be all set. And then you'll have one timeout to get into field goal range. So big 3rd and 20 here. Jones picked. And just get safe. Get to the middle. Nice. All right, so now you have about 3 plays to get into field goal range. You want to kick a field goal with 0 seconds left on the clock. And you have plenty of time. And you want to save that time out until...
So here's now I'm in zone. So now
seconds.
I'm gonna playmaker the run to the right. And
Don't
why
run it.
I'm running it because that's just trust me. That's how I'm
why wouldn't you run out of bounds?
That's how I'm starting the drive. That's how I'm starting the drive.
You have 30 seconds. You have to finish the drive.
That's fine.
You better strike deep down the middle here. Now you got to take your time out, and now you have to run it out, and now
all right.
you've hosed yourself.
It's all right.
You got a 4-yard route, and then just go straight to the menu, kick a field goal.
I'm flipping this because Sherman's on the right.
Get out.
Flag.
15.
I'll take it. So why did I do that? Because I didn't want to go against Sherman and throw an out against him. Because he jumps the outs. He jumps them like, whoa.
Now you kick.
Now you kick. 7 seconds? Is that good?
So lucky.
Why? I was going to be able to kick a field goal anyways.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Ted Nugent?
Kicks the field goal with 35 seconds left. Incredibly lucky. Just no offense, dude, but awful clock management.
Not really.
I don't hate the run, but why didn't you run out of bounds? You cut it back in for 1 extra yard. Poor.
Debatable.
Incredibly debatable.
Very
it's not
debatable.
debatable. People in the chat right now are like, Gibbs, you're so lucky.
I'm a great clock manager. Did I not do it right? He's going to definitely on sides, right?
Just incredible that paid off. But please don't think that was a good move.
Pretty good move.
I've done dumb things that have worked out to my favor, but I don't fool myself and tell them that they were good. 1 cut. I like a left stick. I like a juke with the right stick left, right as you're approaching when you would normally cut, and it at least gets you to the second level. So when I see that happening, I get outside against the initial level. These two guys will catch up to me here, but I still get about 10 extra yards. And Gibbs sensing zone here. Playmaker's right. You saw that run earlier on Twin 103. I believe that's what he was doing. I like that. That does make sense to me with the numbers. So when he gets man, he runs left. When he gets zone and you can see that this guy's over here, he runs to the right. He playmakers it. Nice catch by Green. You also had square with a tender. It would have been a very tender window. But looks like zone here. He's probably going to playmaker right. As you can see, this defender here, I believe, is zone. And so you want to go right. That's how it works. Gets a pancake block. It just needed to beat Shermanator. Second and 6. And just an easy throw to Gresham. I mean, nothing fancy, nothing downfield. Picks up a first down, and just a way to move the chains. I mean, a good way to keep it moving. He's up by 10 points. So a touchdown basically is going to end this one. And the longer it takes, the better, preferably. And I don't even like hurry up. I like going to the huddle every time because it's going to take off extra 20 seconds.
I was in a flow.
No, I feel that. I'm just saying if you're using it to beat him, yes, for sure. If you're using it to beat him,
right. But now, here's the thing. I got in field goal range, and that's typically when I get in field goal range and I feel confident I'm going to score, I'll come out of my rhythm.
Yeah.
But I'm a very big time rhythm guy. Like, if I'm feeling it, I gotta go. I can't stop myself and not go no huddle. Just not how I'm built.
Nice.
It's a Geo.
So you think you're eventually going to get him with Josh Johnson?
If not, I'll be patient.
I mean, you're winning that battle, so. He's got a hot route right. Snap of the ball, takes it right. Picks up a nice gain with Geo. Not bad right there. And go back, Twin 103, watch that earlier tip, guys. That's going to be real big. As you'll see why we hot route.
Should be able to get this
sometimes.
Inside.
Let's see here.
Beautiful. Shift your guys. Beautiful. It's a Geo. So you're seeing how I'm using that strong power and the read option to my advantage here. He's having a difficult time to stopping that running game.
Really is having a tough time as we kick the extra point here on Twin 103, game of the week.
So I like to use gun bunch typically to get me into scoring position. And then I like to check back down to the ace twins just because a little more ball control. I don't have to force things. I know I can run the ball effectively. So that's kind of my mentality, how I've been playing.
I like it. I like it a lot, boys. Kickoff here coming deep.
Yep.
One more time. I like it.
I mix it up.
Watch his inability to cut right. Here's where you'd want to bang it outside and you would have been in trouble. You would have been in trouble if that's PS3. He would have had a lane. But there's no way to get out there without that one cut using the right stick, which I recommend. But at the same time, that one cut is going to cost you time for the second level guys to get over it and hit you.
Got a pass commit.
.24-7, looking pretty good. Adjustments have been good by Gibbs after his first drive. Deep seams, he likes to throw. Seems to have chilled out with the rolling out with Russell Wilson. Like we said, that creates random plays, which random plays can be great, but random plays can be negative, and they're not consistent. You can't consistently make those types of plays.
All right. I'm going to say
Gibbs put some flat zones out there, try and get some press. I mean, 93's manned up on 15, correct?
Yeah.
But he just wasn't reacting to the ball. I mean, not that he should. That's a tough route. That's a tough D, but a nice response drive from the opponent.
That was brutal.
To make it 24-14. I mean, that was too quick, too easy, too fast, too furious. R.I.P. Paul Walker. see, there it is. Like, what I'm saying is, so 35 was the outside containment when Gibbs did his right stick juke right there. 99% of the time, you'll fake that guy out and get outside, but that juke takes longer than it does to left stick it on last gen, and the second level guys will catch you right there. That's been my experience thus far with kick returns. And see that cut right there? Gibbs,
I thought he was going to push back.
Right. I think Gibbs was holding the stick as he took the handoff, and that made him slow down.
No, I was afraid of him pushing him in the run back, so I cut it because I didn't want to run into the defender or to my guy.
So he did have a flat zone there. Might have been able to hit the corner out, but I like the throw over the middle. It was a good throw. 3rd and 4 here, coming up. A big play. And he hits Green over the middle. We got a 4th down coming up, 4th and inches. And Gibbs is currently 14 for 14. I expect him to go with the wing package for a QB sneak.
Yeah.
So hopefully, once again, look at the personnel. It'll come up differently. His opponent won't be ready for it. And Gibbs can just sneak real fast, cover up the ball, and hopefully pick up the 1st down. A little slow walking there by Johnson, but ultimately it worked to his favor. And maybe get one more play in before the quarter ends. Try a screen. Note the blocking is supposed to go to the halfback, but we hit it out to R1, who picks up nice coverage. Gibbs goes out of bounds, and I believe the clock will run when he comes back in, so that will be the quarter. And going into the 4th quarter, Gibbs up 10. Could definitely use another TD, as you saw here. This guy does have the ability to score, but another touchdown likely puts it away, which I said last time he scored a touchdown.
Another great run on next gen, guys, is these quick bases. You just get your halfback into a good lane where you can cut and kind of juke and jive.
Gibbs is a big fan of the quick base. I've tried them; they're definitely good. There's like some off tackle runs from the shotgun that aren't as great, but those actually work pretty good. Looks like setting up the screen again to the right to Gio. He's dropping almost everybody. He's got 79 in a flat, who's Bryant, so he's not that fast. And note the passing. So 16 for 16. And once again, this scheme is in the winner's kit pretty much for the most part. You can use all this Z-spot stuff that we've used to go 16 for 16 right now. Yes, it's made for current gen, but it's going to work on next gen for you. And just take these runs that we're using and put them in, because the other runs not quite as great. Still work. Got to know how to use them, but for those guys asking, we'll have more next gen stuff in the winner's kit soon. We're just going through that right now, but this is working pretty well. And Pierman's going to go here almost to the house. You thought you broke that one, Gibbs?
I thought I had that one.
I had that one?
Yeah. That's where that zoom camera at. Not a fan. Not a fan. Okay.
And Pierman. So I feel like on the edge, he would have held that forever last time.
Yeah, he's doing a good job, though. Oh, boy.
Gio's out of the game?
No, random play.
But I feel like at this stage, you just go Ben Jarvis because you can't risk a fumble.
It's true. How about that? How about that pancake by my boy?
That works as well.
My boy. That's Mr. You know who that is? Mr. Orson Childs. That's why you get an Orson Childs.
From?
Don't know.
Stanford, question mark? Perhaps.
So I have no doubt that he's going to come back out and run that little offense he was doing before.
Which he changed up rather than the scramble, you think?
Yeah.
So Gibbs going to kick deep here. I like that. When you're up 31-14, you kick deep. But he kicked short. Because he's up 31. No, he kicked deep. Why do you kick? You like the sideline kick, though, huh?
Yeah.
And right there.
You can't get around it.
He was sealed. I mean, he had 3 sealed blocks
Right.
if he had kept his full speed going. And there is a way to run with the left stick where you can just be tender enough. You can just be tender enough to get yourself on a nice track.
Do we keep playing? We should keep playing, right?
Yeah.
Other clients, so we can keep playing.
Right. He might get mad at you, and he did a good thing, but
right.
We need to pick him and make him quit because it wouldn't be.
He might just quit, to be honest. I don't know why. There's a shot. He could win this game.
He offered to concede defeat, which 99% of the time we'll take, but we're trying to tape a live show right here. You know what I'm saying? And we are currently locking up in the Best Buy tournament in Boston for guys that are just tuning in now. Gibbs up 31-14, random rank game. We got a full tip show that'll actually probably be on YouTube right now. If you missed the tips part, the archive should probably be up at this point. So youtube.com/Prima Games video will get you to that archive.
I had a buzz zone there.
So buzz zone, close but no cigar. Let's see what we can do here. Sack lunch, fumble. He scoops it. Does not get him too far though. Wilson back at the line. He's got Lynch in the backfield. He's got a shotgun spread look. Gibson and pressure right. He's got a drop of Maliuga in that deep seam. Got throws and out. What'd you have there? A purple zone?
Yeah.
So Gibbs had a buzz zone there. They did a pretty good job breaking down on the out. What was my biggest complaint about pass defense on Xbox 360? They don't break down at the ball. They do now. Much better. Much improved. Exciting. Dre. What's Dre's speed?
Not very fast, but you can do that very well. On
you can click on and L1 it?
Yeah.
So 4th and 12 here. We got the game on the line, we'll say. Here's where I would accept concede defeat after this drive if I was him. I would ask, but not before. Trips left. God.
And I was
there, but you came back across the middle a little bit. Ooh, good play by Baldwin. Good play by Baldwin. Working the seams. With a formation like this, you know, it can be more challenging. Ugh. You were there. It can be more challenging to blitz against that because you actually don't mind it because you have the tight end there. What I like to see Gibbs do there though is take his furthest deep zone. So against that formation, take your furthest deep zone on the right side in cover 3 and bring it left.
I was putting him in a zone.
Make it a hook zone, and then user defend the far right defender. So make it a because there's no way. I mean, the only thing that could beat you out there is a corner by the tight end. There's no other route that goes out there. So you're almost wasting a defender having him in a deep zone out there.
Right, I was putting him in a hook.
Right, bring him in a hook and move him, and then just kind of watch the zone there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See ya.
Wouldn't want to juke you.
Pure intimidation factor.